Goat versus fish.
In the beginning, there was goat versus fish. The goat fish. And goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There is no alpha or omega. There is no black or white. There is no good or evil. There is only goat and fish. And goat versus fish. Welcome to the Goat vs. Fish podcast, recorded at the world-famous Comedy Store Los Angeles, a place of Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish speaks directly to you now, speaks directly to you. You have many questions, yes? Who is Goat vs. Fish? What is Goat vs. Fish? Why is Goat vs. Fish? But there is only one question.
Are you goats or are you fish?
Who shall triumph, the goat or the fish? Let us find out on this Versus of Goat versus fish. This versus goat versus fish speaks to 3? No, it is 2. It is 2 ones. It is 2 ones, yes? Goat versus fish must get right into the verses. Are you goat or are you fish?
Barry Keith Coe Jr. Fish.
Fish! We celebrate this fish! We celebrate this fish! It is fish for this fish! Fish for this fish!
I am the fish. I love the fish.
And what of this one, yes? Are you goat or are you fish?
Abraham Boche at this moment used to be a fence sitter, but I think I'm leaning more towards a goat.
Leaning towards goat, leaning towards goat. Well, fish, what do you say to this one that is not saying it is goat, but it is saying it is leaning towards goat?
I think he's leaning towards he doesn't know what bathroom he's going to use.
Well, unlike a fish that can just piss in the ocean with no problem, yeah, I'd like to, choose the right restroom. One never knows.
Well, you never know. You never know if you are goat or fish. You're always saying you sit on the fence, then you say, oh, I'm a goat when goat versus fish is passing by this one, yes, and now you say, oh, I'm a fence sitter that is leaning goat, fence sitter leaning goat. What has happened? What has happened to this fence sitter? Still sitting on the fence?
I'm on the fence, man.
Oh, it is a fence sitter. Oh, it is a fence sitter.
He's fencing.
Yeah, I'm fencing. Yeah, well, first of all, what's going on here? Like, what's the fish? What's a goat? I'm neither or. I'm a human being, and I'm sitting on this fence trying to figure out which is which and what is what.
Well, I'm a fish.
Celebration for fish.
Why are you a fish, brother?
I'm a fish because Aquaman's coming out.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like Aquaman.
Nice.
I like the ocean. I love swimming. I was probably one of the only black lifeguards in college.
I mean, I'll eat fish and maybe goat and birria, but that's about it.
You eat fish? So you're a goat?
I eat fish and I eat goat. I eat the fish and the goat.
So you're a cannibal?
I am a cannibal.
That is a goat that consumes goat or a fish that consumes fish?
True.
But how could this one be one that is called a cannibal if it is sitting on the fence not being a goat or a fish? Yes, you cannot even claim to be it. A cannibal is just another versus for fence sitter, as you call it now.
True.
Alrighty.
He got you, fam.
Yeah, you got me, bro.
But what about you, fish? What about you, fish? Goat versus fish. Heard you say that you were a one that is guarding a life and that you were a black one. But Goat versus Fish said in the beginning of Goat versus Fish that there is no black or white, there is only goat and fish. What are these versus fish?
I feel like the fish that sits at the bottom of the ocean, we have no light. I come from the bottom. Just like Drake, we started from the bottom. And now we're on Goat versus Fish.
You are on Goat versus Fish, and Goat versus Fish is so pleased to have you on Goat versus Fish. Let us hear all about this fish, and not as much about this fence. Fish, tell us about fish. Tell us about fish.
I love the movie Finding Nemo. That was one of the biggest fishes. I used to see a lot of my brothers and sisters on the Discovery Channel. We used to be on the show called Animal Planet. It's the fishes. In all types of the seas. I come from the LA ocean. We don't see a lot of things. We see garbage cans.
Yeah.
We see a lot of herpes.
Fish is best when fried, with veggies.
Yeah, I'm like southern fish.
Southern fish is good.
Like
Fish and chips.
bubble gum shrimp fish.
That's what I'm talking about. See, now we're going somewhere. We're talking about food here.
Swamp fish.
Swamp fish.
You ever had swamp fish? I love swamp fish.
You are talking about good. That is another Fence Italy versus. Another Fence Italy versus. This one may be speaking, this fish may be speaking of being black fish, but at least it knows it is fish. You are sitting on the fence, and speaking of good again, more Fence Italy versus. More Fence Italy versus. Where is it that you simply wish to sit on the fence in the presence of Goat versus Fish?
I'm a catfish.
A catfish?
Catfishes are black.
Celebration for catfish. Celebration for catfish. Whatever it is calling itself. It is a fish. It is a fish.
I'm the catfish family of the fish family of fish.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on the fence fishing for some fish and feeding the goats through the gate to the fence. I don't know.
You think you are doing so many things, but you know you are only sitting on the fence. You are only sitting on the fence.
If I'm sitting on the fence, I'm probably observing, trying to figure out what the fuck is this fish doing and what is this goat doing and what is going on with this fish.
How big is this fence that you're sitting on? How long can you sit on this fence? Are there barbed wire on the fence? Do you have a towel? Is there Kool-Aid? Is it like a blanket? Are you camping out? Like, what's going on the fence? Do you have TV, Wi-Fi? You have a smartphone? What kind of fence is it? Is it metal? Is it wood? Do you have a few babes out there? Are there other goat out there supporting you? Like, do you wear a hat? Are you orange? Are you Donald Trump's goat? Like, what kind of goat are you? What kind of fence sitter are you? Did you build the fence? Did your people build the fence? Where do your people come from?
Well, that's a good question, bro. And it may be a Donald Trump fence. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question, brother. But I'm stuck in between, like, what the fuck is going on? Why a fish? Why a goat? Why a fence? And why do I have to choose and whatnot? So, yeah.
You realize, fence sitter and fish, that it is a fish. It is a fence sitter, and that if only there were a goat, that it would be goat versus fish. It would be goat versus fish, and yet it is a fish. There should have been goat. There should have been goat at this versus. What did happen to that goat? What did happen to that goat?
It's like
Goat was a no-show.
Reading the Fish Man. It's this one comic book character that I read about at the Fish Academy, where fish learn how to swim and eat shrimp, because that's what we do sometimes.
Yeah.
And, at this Fish Academy where, this girl taught me how to play the flute at band camp, but they call it fish camp.
Right.
Band camp for fish. And, like, there was this villain, and he was the, fishinator. He came out of the blue, and he tried to destroy our whole colony. But the fish man, because, there has to be, wherever there's an antichrist, there's a Christ. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's yin, there's yang.
There is only goat and fish. There's only goat and fish.
One time, this fence sitter had a fish tank, and it had plenty of fish in there, and I had this white fish with an orange face, and I named him Mr. Donald Von Trumpleton. And no sooner than I put this Mr. Donald Von Trumpleton with the other fish, he started talking about he wanted to make the fish tank great again.
By introducing goat?
So nobody had it as bad as a female fish because he kept trying to grab them in the gills.
If you wish to make a fish great again, do you know how you do it? You do it by giving it a goat to versus. You give it a goat to versus so it can be a true fish that is versus goat.
Okay, so let me see. The other day I was on social media and I seen somebody was wishing I think it was it Pauly Shore, they were wishing a happy birthday, or was it Brad Pitt, but they said happy birthday and then they had a goat.
A goat.
They had a goat, so I had an epiphany. I said, "Oh, is that what the fuck that means? What the fuck?" So I started trying to Google what the fuck is goat mean, and it's just fucking a goat, right?
Wait, somebody was
And
fucking
so
a goat?
I told you.
That is what Goat versus Fish heard. Goat versus Fish
Right.
heard fucking a goat.
Fucking a goat, yeah, fucking a goat. That's why I'm on the fence, man. I'm waiting my turn. No, so
Yes, that is enough from the fence sitter. Fish.
Thank you.
Goat versus Fish has been speaking to this fence sitter at the Comedy Store Los Angeles, even when it was saying for one versus that it was Goat versus Fish was so pleased. But forget about those verses. Fish, perhaps you can triumph where Goat versus Fish has not been able to get this fence sitter to choose Goat or Fish. You could try to get this fence sitter to ally with Fish, or you could make it a goat so it can be Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish now leaves it to this fish to get this fence sitter off the fence. Let us hear it from this fish. Let us hear it from this fish.
You're with the goats. If you're with the goats, you're with dry land. If you're a fence sitter, you don't get to go to the ocean. You don't see no mermaids. I see plenty of mermaids. They're out there. They got nice boobs. I get to ride with them. We go all these places. There's fish out there. We have alliances with turtles. We got waterfalls. We have sharks. They don't eat us. Aquaman helps us with that. If you're a goat, I mean, you get eaten, beaten, taken. You get thrown into a slaughterhouse. Now you're somebody's pet. No, you're somebody's breakfast, your dinner, lunch. If they have in-between meals like hobbits, they'll eat you for second breakfast, second dinner, third lunch. But when you're a fish, you're free.
now if we were talking about a whale versus a goat, then I might be like, yeah, okay, a whale, that's a little bit bigger, but a fish is a fish. Come on, it's a
There's
little small
millions
fish, right?
of us.
Now here's one thing.
Millions.
I seen a goat get pulled off a cliff by a fucking hawk. Okay, so I'm not trying. I'll watch it from the fence. I'll watch this hawk pull this fucking goat off the cliff and fucking eat him up. But that's about it.
Bird versus bear is false versus. Bird versus bear is false versus, and if anyone calling itself a bird would end a goat.
Yes. I think that sometimes people, some animals, some fishes, they've made alliances with other things. Other things. I don't align myself with other things. I only align myself with other fishes. I'm the captain of my fleet of fishes. I represent the northern quadrant of fish.
Oh, you represent many
So-
fish.
Many fish. Plenty of fish, as he said earlier.
It is representing so many fish. You
So-
could be a fish that is with this fish.
No. So
Millions of fish.
So maybe this fence isn't a fence. Maybe it's a podium. Maybe it's a stage. Maybe it's a platform to look upon the fish and the goat. And to simply say I'm a goat or I'm a fish without even
Fence.
Knowing
Oh, you are trying to call the fence something that is not a fence. Trying to call
It's
it
a
something that
fence.
is not a fence. But a fence, by
It's an
any other
offense.
verses, is still a fence.
well, depends on how you look at it. But I will not choose fish or choose a goat until I understand what the meaning of it is.
I think the meaning of fish is the acceptance of life in the circle of life. From the water, the fish came. To the water, the fish go. Because of the water, the fish are. Why goat? Goat comes from the dirt. Dirt has no taste. Dirt has no real meaning.
Well, dirt is life. Come on, a little bit of water. Dirt is life. You know, dirt grows greenery and feeds the goat.
Key word you use, water.
Yeah, but it's all
Goat
it goes hand in
needs
hand.
the fish
It goes
to
hand in hand.
verse.
It goes hand in hand.
Fish does not need the goat to verse.
Say the verses.
Are
Say the
you an
verses.
ocean
Goat
fish?
versus fish. Fish will win. Our numbers are too strong.
Well, that could be it. And I'll be watching this from the fence.
Fish, you say that you do not need a goat to verses? Did you say this, Fish? Did you say this, Fish?
It is too many of us. There's not enough. He represents a reality that we are superior than the goat.
In this verses just now, Goat versus Fish agrees there are not enough goat. There are simply not enough goat. Not enough goat to versus every fish. Oh, how pitiable it would be to be a fish without a goat to versus? Oh, if goat versus fish were a fence sitter. Goat versus fish does not sit on the fence. Goat versus fish is goat versus fish. But if goat versus fish did sit on the fence, then surely in the presence of a fish it would choose goat. It would choose goat. Look at this fish. Look at this fish, fence sitter. Look at this fish with no goat to versus, and you sit on the fence. You sit on the fence. Is it not goat versus fish? Is it not goat versus fish?
Apparently the goat didn't show up.
Yes, that is so. At least you sit on the fence before goat versus fish. What has happened to that goat that was supposed to be at the verses? What was that goat called? What was that goat calling itself again?
The goats.
Well, the goat, what do you have to say to goat versus fish? What do you have to say to the fish? What do you have to say to the fence sitter?
Not a goddamn thing, because he's Ghost.
Yeah, ghost.
The Ghost, a.k.a.
Maybe
the
it's
fish.
ghost. Maybe it's ghost versus fish today.
What is so funny about those verses?
Oh.
What is so funny about the verses that is not goat versus fish? Goat versus fish is the only verses to speak of.
True.
You know, I would. Okay, if I had to choose,
Here we go.
God, do you want me to choose, God? Is that what you want? Is that what you ask of me?
Are you speaking to goat versus fish?
I'm speaking to you. So are you coming out the shower or are you going into the shower? Which one is it? Okay, never mind.
Goat versus fish is with you always. Goat versus fish is with you always.
I know.
Let us give it one more versus, yes? Fish, would you ask with goat versus fish? Let us ask this one for one more versus. Are you goat or are you fish? Yes, shall we ask it as one fish?
One more
yes?
time. Let's ask him.
Are you goat or are you fish?
Oh, shit. So if you're making me choose now, damn it.
Goat versus fish wants this to come from within you. Goat versus fish wants you to choose goat or fish because you are a goat or a fish.
Okay, what am I horns gonna have sprinklers like these? Because if they are, then I might be down to be a goat.
You may be any goat you wish. You may be any goat you wish. You are looking upon this goat and you are saying that this goat is, that perhaps this is you. Perhaps this is the goat that you were all along, goat.
Oh, that's a cute goat. Look at this one.
It is reaching for
This
the
is a
goat.
Tekashi
It is reaching
6ix9ine
from the
goat.
fence.
The Tekashi 6ix9ine unicorn goat. The flatboat motorboat goat.
So what's going on with this bastard?
Ah, and then it reaches for the fence. It reaches for
Oh,
the
that's the
fence
fence. Damn,
again.
that's a
Fence
ugly
sitter, fence
motherfucker.
sitter.
Is that what a fence sitter sits like? Oh,
Ah, yes,
yeah.
fence sitter for you. Yes, it was admiring the horn of the goat, and then it reaches for the fence. It
See,
reaches
this
for
is
the
what a
fence
fence sitter
again.
does.
It rides
a
the
fence
goat.
sitter, yes, it rides the goat, and then it goes fishing. Or if it wants to ride the fish, it can also ride the fish. If you think about it, watch, look at that.
I thought
at
fence
that.
sitters sat on fences, not on waves.
If it wants to, the fence sitter wants to ride the goat, it can ride the fish, you know. And if it wants to go in the ocean, if it wants to go on land, it could just simply ride the goat.
Goat ride.
Yeah, goat
The
ride.
goat ride.
And see what it does? It jumps on the fence and then
Goat
just,
ride.
you know, with the help of the fish and the help of the goat.
Do you provide
You know.
goat milk? Will you give
No.
me goat milk?
Goat milk. Well, you'd have to come suckle it.
Oh no. You need that young goat milk.
Goat versus fish would declare this versus a triumph for fish, But without a go-to versus, it is simply celebration for fish. We celebrate this fish! We celebrate this fish! Fish. Now is the versus to celebrate goat versus fish. We do not have much verses left, yes?
Yes.
But now is the versus to celebrate goat versus fish. Fish, do you have a celebration for goat versus fish? A celebration of goat, a celebration of fish, a celebration of the verses. Now is your versus to celebrate your being fish.
I just would like to say thank you to all the catfish out there for representing the northwestern quadrant of catfish. Catfish Anonymous, Catfish America.
And Fence Sitter, do you have any final verses for goat versus fish?
Well, I guess I'm going to stay on this fence, and it was beautiful being here and trying to figure out what goat versus fish is. It was fun playing with these toys, my friend. Thank you for the invitation.
Always thank goat versus fish. Always thank
goat versus fish. Thank you. Yeah,
fish.
Goat versus fish. Thank you so much.
Yes. If the ones wish to communicate with this one to say, get off the fence, how would they communicate with this fence sitter?
You can get me at Abraham_Boche Instagram, and come to my show Wednesdays, Murder the Mic at Club Bahia, Echo Park.
And fish, and wonderful fish. How would the ones communicate with this fish to celebrate how wonderful a fish and how it is not at all a fence sitter? How would they communicate with this fish?
Just follow me on Instagram at DingleberryKeithCo or Twitter at YouTalkWayTooMuch with the number 2. Thank you. That was Barry Keith Co. The fish. Barry Keith Co. Jr. Das Fish. The catfish, leader of the catfish people that love catfish, the catfish Facebook group, catfish.
In Spanish, we call them monjarras, and we get it with lime and usually fries on the side.
Fin sitters only eat the goat, and they are not allowed to eat a fish.
Yeah, it's called birria. We did it with tortillas.
Thank you for joining Goat versus Fish. These are the verses of Goat versus Fish. Subscribe, rate, and review the Goat vs. Fish podcast on the YouTube and the Ite-Oons and the Spotify. Follow Goat vs. Fish on all social media, on the Instagram, on the Twitterver, on the Book of Faces, all at Goat vs. Fish, all at Goat vs. Fish. And if you wish to witness a live versus of Goat vs. Fish, go to GoatVsFish.com to find dates and times of all future verses. And if you, one who listens, has a question for Goat vs. Fish or a celebration for Goat vs. Fish, do send it to GoatVsFish@gmail.com or on the Goat vs. Fish Instagram. Join the Goat vs. Fish discussion group on the Book of Faces to discuss Goat vs. Fish with other goat and fish, and perhaps even a fence sitter. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you. Look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who does not know the way. And ask. Simply ask, are you goat or are you fish? These are the verses of Goat vs. Fish. I am Goat vs. Fish. The goat fish. And it was written, and it was written.